Well, we all know that Buffalo is the city of good neighbors. That apparently applies to the music industry as well.
Well, 2 on Your Side's Pete Gallivan tells us how one local music legend served as the launch pad for another musician who hit the big time as we continue our series of unknown stories of Western New York.
A musical time machine landed recently in Niagara Falls, transporting the crowds to the golden age of the Buffalo music scene. Legendary bands The Road and Talas all but erased the past 30 years in a twin bill reunion show. While the two bands enjoyed some incredible local success, as evidenced by the thousands who packed in to see them, one of these great musicians was able to break through on the worldwide stage. Billy Sheehan's unparalleled bass licks attracted the attention of David Lee Roth, and in 1986, the former Van Halen frontman pulled Sheehan out of Buffalo and on the road with his star-studded band. All of a sudden, Sheehan had a platinum record with Diamond Dave's Eat 'Em and Smile, which included the Talas song Shy Boy, and a little tongue-in-cheek ditty about Billy's hometown.
I went home for Thanksgiving and I went back to LA and I said, what did you do while you were in Buffalo? I said, I went out to Thursday night was ladies' night in Buffalo, and they thought that was hilarious. So they used that phrase. That was all I had to do.
Sheehan was on his way. Another album with Roth, then he formed his own band, Mr. Big, which also found commercial and critical success.
Just to be the next to be with you.
Hitting #1 with To Be With You. Billy has won Best Rock Bass Player Readers Poll from Guitar Player magazine 5 times. Billy says all of that has been rooted in home and those early years.
The whole Western New York area was a hotbed of bands and entertainment.
And specifically an early musical role model.
Sorry, a lot of people ask me, how did you start playing bass? There's this guy named Joe Hesse.
Joe Hesse, the bass player from The Road.
Billy was a little guy, and he's about 7 years younger than I was, but at the time I'm about 17 or 18 years old. He's still in his younger years. And Billy wasn't really a bass player at the time, and he'd come down and watch us in the window.
And we'd listen outside, and we'd try to do our little thing, you know, but I wanted to play bass because Joe played bass.
I get this knock on the door, and all of a sudden this kid goes, show me something. And he points this bass in my face.
And he was my hero. He had cool hair and cool car and cool motorcycle. And so I emulated him as best I could in the early years.
And we never realized we were doing anything but just helping a kid out, you know.
He never gave it a second thought. It's just what musicians in Buffalo did at the time. Joe soon got married and moved away, but every time he'd visit, little Billy would track him down.
I'd come back to my mom's house, and he'd always come running down the corner. Joe, you got to see us play. You got to see us play. I said, I'm going to go. And I'm thinking there's this little kid who's just getting his thing together. He's going to fumble around, and that'll be that.
Okay, please welcome Talas!
Well, Billy wasn't so little anymore and certainly wasn't fumbling around on his bass as he and his band Talas hit the stage.
I was amazed what this guy was doing. I couldn't believe this guy had done what he'd done. What, the guy go to another planet or something? The guy's ridiculous, you know? He's amazing, you know?
I learned probably more in Talas than I learned anywhere else. So it was a college education in a way. And having played around, I've been lucky to have been involved with some great situations in my career. But I know now, looking at Dave and Paul and the Talas that we had, we had what it took.
A mix of musical talent and friendship, along with a path blazed by an early hero.
I don't know if it was a passing of the torch so much. I'm just a real good, functional groove bass player. I don't have all those antics go on that Billy can do. He can do things that most guitar players couldn't even attempt to do. I have a tremendous amount of admiration for the guy because he found a niche. He didn't get into that whole thing about being a musician, so to speak. He became a serious virtuoso entertainer.
And beyond the blazing fingers, flinging hair, and all that spandex lies one of the unknown stories of Western New York. Pete Gallivan, Channel 2 News.
See,
Remember all that stuff,
yeah,
right?
that was back in the day when you could dig below the hair and the spandex and there'd be real talent.
That's right.
Today, maybe not so much, but Talas was huge here, and they played everywhere and packed a joint. And
Back then, they were probably like the modern-day Goo Goo Dolls, probably, right?
They were huge. They were big, Kev. You
Got
remember?
a funny, yep.